I'm obsessed with historical gossip, so let's just dive into Thomas Seymour, shall we? This guy had like a weird obsession with the crown of England. He was too obsessed. Seriously, so crazy. So Thomas Seymour's sister was the third wife of King Henry VIII. Thomas Seymour's wife was the sixth wife of King Henry VIII, the one who survived. He had like a flirtatious / really scandalous relationship with Queen Elizabeth I. And his nephew was the next King Edward, and he was like very young. And so this guy was like slipping money to him, like giving him an allowance so King Edward would eventually rely on him. And remember, the King Edward's like young. He's like 9 or 10, right? And so if your uncle's giving you money, you're like, sure, yeah, I'll take it. But because now, Thomas Seymour is like, aha, I have some control over this young king. He tries to get him to like sign all sorts of documentation, being like, yes, Thomas Seymour can be my personal, governor, which luckily the young king doesn't do. Anyway, he tries to get all this legislation passed, and the young King Edward is like, this is weird. What are you doing? And so the Thomas Seymour is like, well, nobody really knows why he did this, but he broke into the young king's bedchamber and shot his dog. And people were like, what the hell? Like, why did you break into the king's bedroom with a gun? That's weird. And then he was tried and convicted and killed. But yeah, we could go into some deep, like, gnarly shit with this guy, because holy mackerel, Thomas Seymour, what a lunatic. So when he married his wife, Catherine Parr, the last wife of King Henry VIII, she was his widow, she was a stepmother of Queen Elizabeth I, right? And Queen Elizabeth, sweet baby girl, was like 13 or 14. And this Thomas Seymour guy would like go into her bedchamber and in his pajamas and like smack her on the ass or like tickle her. And her governess at the time was like, hey, Catherine Parr, your husband's doing some shady shit with your stepdaughter. And Catherine Parr was like, no, it's fine. And then eventually she gets pregnant and she's like, wait a second, something is a little fishy here. And so she sends Elizabeth away. Oy. Anyway, Thomas Seymour, such a creep, had such an obsession with the Tudor crown. Like, drama. I love it. I love like historical gossip.